I'm Mark Borkowski. This video will teach you how to create a simple podcast using the program Garageband. First off, what is a podcast? Podcasts are collections of electronic media, be it pictures, video, sound, that can be downloaded and listened to at any place at any time. Podcasts were originally known as webcasts, but due to the popularity of the iPod music player, they've been renamed podcasts. There's basically only three things you need to create a podcast. The first is an idea and the materials to present for that idea. The next is a script. It's essential to have a script that you can follow correctly as you're presenting your podcast. And finally, you need a microphone, something that you can record the audio with. Microphone choice is essential when creating a podcast. For most cases, the built-in microphone will do just fine, unless of course you live in an area where there's lots of airplanes flying over. Built-in microphones pick up quite a bit of background noise, so there are better alternatives. A dedicated microphone, such as the Yeti from Blue Microphone shown here, will give you much better quality when recording a podcast. So here I am in GarageBand. I have chosen to record a new podcast. The first thing I will do is select the male voice, and then I will click on the record button. So I'm going to read off my script. Exploring the Southwest United States is like taking a step back in time to days of Wild West movies. The land of the Southwest is like no other in the world. From the towering cliffs of Zion National Park, the strange and beautiful hoodoos in Bryce Canyon, red rock areas near Moab, and the unique structures created by wind, water, and time. Once I have my audio edited, I need to go back in and add markers to indicate where I want photos to begin and end. So I'm going to start playing the file again. And then press the P button each time I want a marker. Okay, now that I have those recorded, we're ready to move on to photos. I've added some of my pictures here on the timeline. GarageBand allows you to view all of your photos that you've previously imported into iPhoto. Now we need a couple more photos for this. I need one of Zion National Park for the section when I'm talking about it. So I drag and drop that into GarageBand, and then I simply stretch it to fit the space that I need. And then I need one last picture just to finish this off. Let's go with picture of Moab, and I will stretch that out to fit that. Apple has done a great job of including all kinds of royalty-free music and sound effects within GarageBand. So we're going to add a little background music to our podcast. I'm going to choose the loops down here at the bottom. I'm looking under all effects. I'm going to choose the rock and blues group, and I kind of like this daydream one that I'm going to add to it. Finally, I have one more piece of sound that I want to add. Let's go into sound effects and vocals, and I am going to add the word incredible right to the end of my podcast. Now that I've completed my podcast, I need to create a file that can be listened to on many different devices. First thing I need to do is click on the share menu, and I can either send the podcast directly to iTunes, which will allow it to be loaded onto an iPod, or I could export the podcast to a disk, and that will put it onto a location that I could load onto any device. That's the one that I'm going to choose. I'll click on Export Podcast to Disk. Leave the default settings. I'm going to click Export. It'll ask where I want to save it. I'm going to name this Southwest, and I'm going to save it on my desktop. So I click Save. takes a few seconds to create the file. And that completes our basic lesson in podcasting. I hope the information you learned today was helpful and that you'll try podcasting in the future. Thank you.